So, this video is inspired by mother, father, auntie, uncle, Flame Monroe. Ooh, sipping this good mushroom coffee with lion's mane in it for the brain. I want to see if my feathers could go with this. Oh, yes, I like that. Yes, I like that. I had to wear the hat because this is the pimp hat. You know what I'm saying? Because Auntie Uncle Flame over there is pimping, pimping the females, pimping the XXs. You know what I'm saying? And pimping ain't easy. Got to eat over there pimping, putting down the community, talking about the post stops, windmilling all by he, she, we, self for Jess. Meanwhile, Justin went to Bird Box. Just over there on mute. Somebody to press the mute button over there because Jess ain't said nothing else. She said what she said and went to Bird Box. And the queers have entered the chat. Baby, the queers have entered the chat, honey. Now, I saw Hope video last night. I saw a lot of what Hope said. Just to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think she said anything wrong. But I do know why, a lot of trans men probably haven't said anything. I could imagine that, right now, they're over there casting a spell behind the scenes to make the cycle disappear. They don't want to talk about period I, period period I, period find somebody else to do it. It's giving very much find somebody else to do it. Sis, what was the conversation about again? Oh, we don't want to talk about it. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no. They don't want to talk about that. That's why. What was the conversation? Period I, period up. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about cycles no more, bitch. Let them argue about some blood I don't want me. So I just feel like I feel like Flames I feel like Flame and a lot of my community really fell in love with cis people. And we always just assume that pre-op girls, because they keep their penis, that they are not the ones who fell in love with the halflings. And when I say halfling, y'all could say, oh, you being derogatory, why you calling us halflings? But that's what you call yourself. You identify yourself as you only identify with the pronouns that the doctor gave you at birth when you have a mother and father. So, people can use it. It can be used just like bitch can be used to be negative, just like nigga can be used to be negative. People can use halfling to be negative. It can be taken negative. Me calling you a halfling can be perceived as negative. But every time I say it, it isn't it. If you get married to find the other half of yourself, then what are you? You're a halfling. So in indigenous culture, and I am indigenous. Oh yes, I found out it was Cherokee in the bloodline. And other tribes too, but I know about that Cherokee. And this is why I've taken it upon myself to always own my indigenous roots. No, I don't have any paperwork because they didn't go into the reserves. They didn't go live on reserves. They blended just like I've been blending as a female. They blended because they didn't want to go to the reserves. So a lot of them end up in housing developments. But it's still in the bloodline. And in indigenous language, one word could mean multiple things. So when I use the word halfling, halfling, It can mean multiple things. It can mean, oh, they're a halfling. You know, they're someone who needs to have a partner. They need to be in a relationship. You know, they have to, they need to be paired up. You know, or it can mean if you're trying me, calling me weird and telling me I need a straitjacket, halfling. I came here whole. I came here being my whole self. I came here with someone to love me already, with many to love me. Because a lot of ancestors walk with me. And I'm always conscious of this. Sometimes it makes me nervous because I feel like Michael Jackson. I always feel like somebody's watching me. I've always felt like this since I was a child. I've always felt like I was being watched. I've never felt like I wasn't on stage or somebody wasn't looking. I've always felt a presence. I've always felt, right now I feel it. I feel like I'm being watched now. I've always felt like this. This is me being honest as I possibly can. I've always felt like somebody was watching me. Now I understand it and I'm not as afraid of it. I'm not as uncomfortable about it. I always tell my ancestors, ease it on me. Cause I done been indoctrinated. I done been brainwashed. So if y'all decide, when I was little, I used to see spirits. I used to talk to them. I used to have visions. I had a lot of gifts that I buried trying to play normal, trying to be regular, trying to be average. Some of y'all got millions of dollars, cars, money, all that. But you still a basic bitch. Cause you don't have any gifts. You buried all of them to pretend to be like them. You buried all of them to blend in, to fit in. I came here with a whole bunch of gifts that I'm now having to rediscover, reconnect with, re-tap back into. Why? Because I tried to blend in and be basic. Now, Flame is not basic. Flame is a magical unicorn. Flame is, for her generation, she was different because Flame was one of the first queer people that we saw, one of the first different people that we saw that was up on stage with breasts that weren't breastplates, that weren't titty pads. Like, Flame actually loved the female form enough to adorn titties on their chest. I'm not here to question whether Flame is trans or not, or what Flame identity is. I think that growing up in that generation, sort of like what happened with Michael Jackson, bleaching himself and getting a nose job. Well, not bleaching himself, forgive me. Getting vitiligo. Excuse me. Excuse me. Forgive me. But it was a rumor that he was bleaching himself. But with him with him getting lighter and his nose changing, with Patti LaBelle getting a nose job, because nose jobs used to be big in our community. When Oprah Winfrey got a nose job, I mean, a lot of people went under the knife and got a nose job. The stuff that happened with Lil Kim, how Lil Kim changed herself, in order to fit into white society, white culture. I think Flame is like how black people are who want to be that one special black person in the room with all the special white people. I think Flame wants to be that one special trans person in the room with all the straight people, with all the cis people, because the cis people are the majority. And if you have the support of the majority, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to eat and feed your family. Like, you don't want to make an enemy of what is the majority. And right now, they are still the majority. So If I'm gonna be able to eat, and I'm gonna make sure my children eat, you understand me? I got to do. I gotta say what need to be said. You understand me? And so I stand with the biological women. You understand me? The biological. I stand with you, Jess. I stand with you, but don't have me fighting by myself, Jess. Don't have I stand with you. I stand with biological women. And what I think happened was and what I think happened was having biological children. I think that children are a gift. Let me say this. I think that children are a gift. But I also don't think that we all were designed to procreate, and that's why I get upset when I don't want to use the word upset because that's not accurate. I used to be triggered. I used to be bothered by it. But I think it concerns me when I hear people say, "Oh, bringing a baby, having a baby, it is the greatest thing that I've ever experienced." I couldn't imagine. Like it's like, girl, that is so rehearsed. You've heard this so many times from so many people. You are a parakeet. It is such the greatest gift. It is the most beautiful thing. And then I'm listening to Flame online the other day. Like one day um, she was like, how she said it? She said, if you have yeah, if you adopt children, it's not the same as having your own biological children. That was the statement that she made, um, you to see that sparkle in your eye, to see you looking back at you. And to me, what I heard was is that you are so disconnected from people that you need to be able to physically see your DNA in order for you to show agape love. That's what I heard. I heard that you don't have the type of humanity, the type of emotional depth, the type of spirituality, the type of soul that allows you to really see yourself in other people, to really be able to realize that we're all connected, that we all came from the same place. Like you physically need to bring your DNA here for you to get it. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Because if the world needed to be like you in order to function, if everybody really thinks like you, if people in power really think like you, no wonder the government sucks. No wonder we don't have any rights. No wonder people are treated like that. Because if you need to see a direct biological connection in people in order to really, 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 really give a fuck, that explains the dump that America is. And people like that should not be governing society. People like that should not be speaking for everybody. I need for you to love me like I'm kin to you without us, without there being proof that we're related, because we are related. But I need for you to love me. I need for you to care about me like we first cousins, like we siblings, like I was the child and you was the parent, or you was the parent and I was the child. I need for you to love me like that without any proof that we're related. I need that in this world. I need to live in a world like that. So how you feel, how a lot of you fell in love with the halfling model. Cause if you was whole, you wouldn't talk like that. You wanna be a halfling. You want to think that you got to bring something here from your loins and from your womb in order to feel connected to the people around you. And that's what's wrong with society. Thinking that we have to, it have to be something that came from here and you got to know it and you got to see it and you got to be able to prove it. You only believe what's in front of you. That's what's wrong with the world. You done fell in love with the halfling model. Because when you whole, you know everything is connected. You know separation is the lie. That's the halfling model. Auntie, uncle, you fell in love with the halfling model. You're allowing your spiritual siblings to suffer, making light of them online yesterday, talking about post-ops and pre-ops, talking about the girls' fake pussies and this and that, and it don't work, and the Obama orange slice don't. Really? Ain't you in your 60s, ma'am, sir? Ain't you in your 60s? And let me let you know, this cooch ain't deep. It's a shallow kiddie pool, and I'm not alone. I am not alone. It's cis women, biological females, womb bearers that have come here that have shallow vaginas and can't take dick either. But let me let you know something that nuts good. It nuts good, and when I'm getting ate, I shiver. I shiver. I love not having to get hit in my back door. And let me tell you something. Sometimes I still have to do it. I'm not above it. This It's not my first choice. I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest. I know that there is some trauma between pre-op girls and post-op girls. I've heard shady shit that T.S. Madison has said. I've heard shady things that they say Diamond has said. We always hearing shady stuff that you say, Flame. And we not finna sit up here and act like the 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 strain that exists between post-ops and pre-ops is not something that perhaps our ancestors, the pre-op girls who came before me, may have merited. But y'all didn't play the whole tape. Y'all are not playing the whole tape. You sit up here and you tell these stories about how the girls be miserable and how the girls be sad and how the girls be going through this and the girls be going through that. Wouldn't that explain why a girl would lord over your head that she has a pussy and you don't? If a girl is not getting any enjoyment out of her cat, but she made that sacrifice, can't you understand why this girl gonna be around you reminding you that she have a pussy and you don't? She made the sacrifice. Can't do nothing with it. It's a lot of bitter, lonely, dry nights. But she still made that sacrifice. And that sacrifice does not come without you feeling away. Now, this generation is different. The girls are having better surgeries. The girls are having less complications. I had complications with mine. You know, they say every girl have complications. They say if a girl says she ain't have complications, she lying. I had complications with mine, but let me tell you something. It ain't a lifeless hole. It's feelings and nerves in it. I could squeeze my legs together real tight, honey, and get one without even having to touch myself. It ain't a lifeless hole, honey. It's still electricity moving around down there. Boo. I could rub for a few seconds, honey, and be done. So it's not a lifeless hole, honey. It ain't a fake pussy because it was made with real meat. And that meat's still alive. And guess what? And guess what? And guess what pussies would be if they wasn't pussies? Dicks. Everything is everything, mama. Sir. It was made from real meat. Live meat. Meat that work. So ain't nothing fake about it, boo. Then they say it didn't come from God. Baby, everything is a part of the divine. Everything is a part of God, Goddess. We are all a part of God's body. We are all a part of the Creator's body. So the doctor who carved and crafted, if it was a robot that would have been down there, robots came from the divine. Nothing could exist without the will of the Creator. Everything comes from the divine. Y'all don't want to hear that because y'all want to hold on to antiquated ideas about being, about coming into being. Y'all want to make this lie like it was better in the olden days and it was better the way it was. No, it's not. You're just not evolving quick enough. You're becoming obsolete. And you want to shame other people and condemn other people and put other people down because you can't keep up with the growth. In order, there are cycles. And when something is nearing its end, it starts to unravel, it starts to fall apart so that it can reemerge and reform itself. There can be no life without death. There can be no society without destruction. They say when the queer kids pop up, when all of them start taking over, we living in our last days. That's the end of a cycle, ma'am. All you women, females, cis women who sit up in front of this camera and just said that you own the administration, you own the cycle. Well, ma'am, can't you see a cycle is ending? Can't you see a sun is setting? Can't you see that a new day is dawning? You feel a way about it? Evolve or die. Evolve or transition on to another space. But y'all should know way more about this than we do because y'all experience a cycle. The cycle is when all your old eggs and all of that stuff that was in you, it cleans itself out so that it can be renewed and start again. So you have to go through that bleeding period. And let's be clear, if I could have had your cycle, I would have loved it. Cause I would have been dealing with the pain. Cause I know me, I'd have been doing all type of blood rituals with my own DNA. Sometimes I can. My blood come a different way. I ain't finna sit up here and lie and say I got no cycle, but I'm not finna say I ain't never bled. I'm not finna say I ain't never bled from personal areas. After you have the surgery, there's bleeding for a little while, but then it stops because that's the healing process. And after the first time I had intercourse, there was blood, but and then sometimes when a girl eats too much spicy food, she get blood back there, like when she eats spicy food for too long. But I don't have the bloating and the cramps and and the shedding of the eggs and the renewing of what's going on down there. Like I don't experience that. A lot of women who are born with wombs and ovaries and fallopian tubes, they said they don't want it. You could take it. A lot of beings who were born that way said they don't want it. You take it. But I wouldn't have been, messed up about experiencing. I think I would have some bitterness toward it if I had to go through it for years and years and years. But I respect their strength. I respect their ability to be able to go through that. The swelling ankles, the swollen feet, the cramps, the bloatedness, all of that, like to be able to go through all of that. Like I have respect for them for going through that. But yeah, like and let's be clear. I do not dishonor or dishonor my foremothers or my ancestors, whether they're female or male, whether they're female, male, or non-binary. I don't disrespect them, but I'm not a sidekick to nobody. We all have different functions. We all have different purposes. It's over 8 billion people on the planet. Over 8 billion. Y'all right now, it's just too much. Y'all just constantly, all we doing is dividing ourselves, creating more confusion, and y'all wondering where the war coming from. It's because y'all bringing all of these ancestors into dysfunction. Y'all constantly breeding and procreating and keep bringing life and keep trying to, like, all of you egotistically want to do your own thing, and you keep just dividing and dividing and dividing and dividing. And when you divide trash, what you think you gonna get? If it was trash to begin with, this is a trash society. This is a trash government. It's trash. If you divide and trash, what the fuck you think you about to bring here? If you divide shit into four pieces, it's still gonna be shit. If you divide shit into 20 pieces, it's still gonna be shit. Imagine dividing shit into 8 billion pieces. So, first, you have to improve the quality. We all have to collectively work towards improving the quality of life, improving the quality of society. But people are selfish. People are selfish. People get lonely. You done messed up all your relationships with people. You don't. I have relationships that have lasted over 20 years. I have. I can count. I could go over my hands on people that are still in my life 20 years later. People that I'm still friends with 30 years later. Y'all in the trans community, I'm talking specifically to y'all now. You went and changed yourself and forgot who you was and didn't want to work out those relationships with your family, so you had to start completely over. And because you didn't hold on to any of those relationships in your past life, because you didn't do that work, you don't feel a real connection to anything. So now you have to go and create and bring babies here thinking that that's going to do something for you. But let me ask you this question. I want you to think about this, because you know I don't just live for today. I live for tomorrow. That's how my DNA set up. I can't help it. If you drop dead right now and you passed on generational wealth to your family, see, a lot of y'all gonna say you only get one life to live. Okay, that you keep telling yourself that, because ain't nowhere in the world we collected all this trauma in one lifetime. Ain't nowhere in the world. I'm not buying it. If you drop dead today or tomorrow, and you born again and you don't come back as a black person, you come back as a white person. For all of you blackity black, I'm black, yo, and I'm black, yo, and everything is about being black, and everything is about black power, and everything is about black generational wealth. If you drop dead today or tomorrow and you come back and you done fought for black people to be on top, you done fought for black people to have all their rights, you done fought for black people to have all the power in the world, and you're born into a poor Caucasian family where black and brown people are in total power, where black and brown people run everything. What was all your work for? Because now you suffering. So instead of us trying to collectively heal, we want to do the same thing that was done to us. We want to perpetuate the same vicious cycle. And that's what's going on between post-ops and pre-ops. See, I live in multiple worlds. I walk between realms. That's why a lot of y'all don't like me. That's what's going on between pre-ops and post-ops, between queers and gays, between blacks and whites, between males and females, between cis women and trans women. It's the perpetuation of a vicious cycle, because nobody wants to do the work. Everybody want to play gods and goddesses and keep bringing new beings here. Keep bringing new beings here to fuck up. When you ain't worked on yourself. Flame feel justified in getting on the mic and saying those things to community, saying those things to community, saying these things about her spiritual siblings, because Flame got biological children. who Flame has done well by. Ain't gonna say nothing negative about it. But creating biological offspring has impeded upon your ability to do the work that you need to do with your trans and queer siblings. It's impeded upon your ability. And let me tell you something, whoever that is in the comment section talking about everybody ain't with that both sides of the fence mess. Everybody not with the one side of the fence mess. Like whenever you speak, always put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you came here not to listen, not to learn, not to hear, then move on. This ain't the platform for you. But everybody not with the one side of the fence mess either. We all need to have our seat at the table. We all need to have our voices heard. And if you don't have the capacity to hear your neighbor, if you don't have the capacity to hear your sibling, then you don't need to be at the table. Because what you ain't about to do is bogart the conversation. We ain't just got to listen to you, and we ain't asking you to just listen to us. We asking for everybody to be heard. Right, but yeah, you right, have your own table. But having your own table, and that's what I'm doing right now, my own table. Like I ain't go on your platform trying to talk on your page. Like I'm literally at my own table. You passed through and sat down at my table to eat, and you didn't like what was being served. Move on to the next table or create your own. But the problem with everybody creating their own tables is that the problem with creating everybody creating their own tables is that we are not learning how to work together. We're not learning how to connect with each other. We're not learning how to expand so that when storms hit, we aren't so vulnerable. This is how our black indigenous ancestors were conquered. This is how those Africans were able to be sold off that came here. This is what happened to our ancestors. We were so divided, so many small tribes. We've always had a problem with coming together. This ain't new. We've always had a problem with coming together. Africa is so divided. When they got here, all of the indigenous people, it was Buku tribes that was warring amongst each other. So we've always had a problem historically with coming together. That's nothing new. The question is that ever going to change? Are we ever going to be able to come to an agreement that says, you know what? This shit bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than me. Let me set um some of my personal beliefs to the side to see the bigger picture. Let me do that. Like, are we ever gonna do that? If we ain't never gonna do that, then what are we doing it for? Stop getting in front of the camera trying to upset people and pretend like you really standing for somebody. You're not. Ain't nobody standing for nobody. People is trying to appease their fans. They know what their fans want to hear. They know what their fans want to hear. Can you imagine how many people probably jumped in Jess DM and showed her that video of that trans person saying that? How many of her followers, people who like really, really support her, we don't know what prompted her to do that video. I know one thing, if she would have did it with a little bit more tact, if she would have just said one person name, if she would have just addressed it like Hope said, if she would have just sent it to the direct address, I would have been on her side. I probably would have clicked like on the video. But she made it about the whole community and said we all needed to be in straitjackets. And T.S. Madison is such a politician in this particular instance because that lady just got back from traveling Europe, and that lady was like, she was windmilling at first, and baby, I guess they said something to her. I guess she felt the wrath. She started feeling the wrath, honey, and baby, she was very strategic and did that video with a woman who's born with the womb. Okay, she got up and did that video with the woman who was born with the womb, honey, and was in the pictures on her story with the women with the little girl that was born with the wombs, and was like, that's all I got for y'all. But I expected it to be a salacious, I'm about to let y'all hold a piece video. And I think that this is and the fact that she couldn't give that because her female supporters are not here for it. They're not having it. They don't see it for that. And so because she can't give that to them, I think this is why the girls give it to the sex change girls again. Because females, beings who are born with wombs, they'll let that slide. Like you getting the post op girls together. So they really take out their frustrations a lot of the times on the post op girls. They make us eat what they really want to make the women who was born with wombs eat. We like they you chopped off your dick. It's not any reverence or respect that we were so serious about the honoring of XX energy, the honoring of that yoni, the honoring of that sacred womb, that portal. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's not celebration for that. It's disrespect. And I deep down feel like that disrespect is because this is what you really want to say to cis women. This is really what you want to say to females. And when I say cis, it's not a disrespect. I get it. Like, I don't understand why some, females or womb bearers. I stopped saying female because y'all was upset by the word female. When I say woman, I need to differentiate between cis and trans. So if I just keep saying woman, 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 let me be your woman, you don't know which one I'm talking about in this day and age. So in order to differentiate, I have to say cis sometimes because cis means that you was born a certain way and you ain't you and they told you what you was and you was good with it. You was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm that. And so it just means that you didn't change your gender because a lot of y'all change y'all body. Like, to me, technically, some of y'all trans. You go and get your titties done, go and get your pussy rejuvenated, go and get a Brazilian butt lift. Y'all trans women too, if you ask me. But hey, Tasha K wasn't lying when she said that some trans women be getting y'all ready, be prepping y'all for a trans woman. And see, I don't get into that. I don't try to tell women who are born with wombs how to wear their hair, how to do their makeup, how to dress. You don't see me doing tutorials. You don't see me trying to tell y'all what's fashion and what's not fashion and trying to tell y'all how to look and trying to tell y'all how to act. Cause I realized the error of my ways. I did used to do it when I was young, when I was a child, when I was in my 20s. But when I got in my 30s and my 40s, I outgrew that. Once I started to really just embrace my own womanhood and want to be more free in my own womanhood, want to be more comfortable in my own body, I stopped feeling the need to police femininity and tell, oh, you need to get your hair together, oh, you need to get your nails done, oh, you need some lashes, girl, you look homely, girl, you look plain, you look basic. To me, that's faggot shit. That's what punks do. Police other women's femininity. Now, if you constantly telling me that you want to make changes and that you want to do something for yourself and you want to get yourself together, then I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to remind you of what you said. I'm going to give you a push, whether you was born with a penis or you was born with a vagina. If you tell me that it's something that you're trying to accomplish and it's something you want to do, then I'm going to remind you of what you said and nurture you towards that. But I'm not just going to come out the blue and be like, girl, you need some lashes. Girl, look at your hair, girl. Girl, I don't like that outfit, girl. You need to do. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm here for. That's not my role. That's not my platform. That's not my ministry to tell you how to be a woman. Because I didn't like when gay men did it to me. I didn't like when my trans sisters did it to me. I don't like you telling me how to be a woman. I don't want you telling me how to do my womanhood, how to navigate my womanhood. So I'm never going to tell you how to do yours. Never. That's not my narrative. That's not my platform. But there's some trauma that we all need to heal from, and we need to be able to do that work of collectively healing. We need to be able to do the work of collectively healing. I'm surprised nobody addressed Flame. Flame has made multiple videos wearing the girls out. And it's like, y'all, I don't know what's going on with the community. Like, y'all making all these videos about Jess, and y'all acting like Flame don't exist. We don't talk about Bruno, no. Like, I ain't seen, like, I may have seen, like, I think one person, I saw Brianna make a post, but I haven't really seen no girls really like address Flame. And I think it's because the girls are trying to keep this united front. And a lot of girls who have the same viewpoints in private, you notice you'll see them canoodling together. You'll see they're friends with each other off the scenes, behind the scenes. A lot of girls who share the same viewpoints. And I like I said, I could understand some of your hatred and some of the reasons why you don't like sex changes, but just like you don't want Jess to generalize all trans women, y'all stop generalizing all post stops. Cause we are not all the same. Y'all want us to be quiet. Cause you feel like our narrative doesn't deserve any power. And see, Laverne opened the door for that when she stopped them from talking when she stopped them from talking up under our clothes. She shut the door on that. And I respect Laverne's decision not to want to talk up under her clothes, but I'm totally fine with talking up under mine because we need education. We need enlightenment. We need to understand why people do certain things so we can stop with this straitjacket narrative. So we can stop with this narrative that the girls is crazy. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Because regardless as to what you know, regardless as to how articulate you are, how many words you can rattle off with efficiency, they still gonna look at you as crazy. A lot of people. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So let's talk, let's be bold enough to have the conversation about why we make certain changes. Why we feel the need to do certain things to our bodies. And maybe it would help some of these people who were born and accepted what the doctor said, these cis people, maybe it would help them to be more transparent about themselves. If we did the work of helping to heal our community and helping to heal the LGBT, we could be a better quality of people, a stronger quality of people, a more conscious and more thoughtful and empathetic quality of people, a more loving quality of people, and we could change this dynamic that is happening right now and help other people to heal themselves. Because behind the scenes, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Everybody doing it to everybody. Everybody, everybody. You gonna make me so. You know, I'm telling everybody, everybody, everybody doing it. Everybody having everybody. Everybody. Everybody having everybody. Behind the scenes, everybody having everybody. But it's like the game is to pretend like you not. The game is to pretend like you would never. When you have many, 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 many times. Many, many times. You done had everybody many times, honey. You got penis and vagina on your breath as we speak. In this very moment, you have penis and vagina. And I'm convinced that these celebrities and all of these people that's in high places, honey, that's all it is orgies. That's why they want you to be attractive. That's why they want you to be attractive. Because baby, they try to keep it in, they try to keep it in house. They try to keep the nasty in the network. So they all having each other. That's why we so visual and we so into looks. Cause they all having each other. Everybody having. Having and holding. And holding and having. Yeah, they all having each other. So the lie is to pretend like you not having. But you so I just feel like we need to get to a place. I don't know. I just maybe society doesn't want to evolve. Maybe people just want to stay where they are and just want to be able to vent and complain. Maybe that's what's really going on in society. And I'm not often moved to talk about things. And I feel like I've given enough energy to this topic. Like literally, when I do this video, I'm moving on. I've been working on some art, and that's what helps me with my balance. But I'm working on this infinity symbol. Isn't it beautiful? It looks like a number 8, but it's an infinity symbol, which is basically you know, I wonder if it comes off. Yeah, it's so like I did this. I didn't have no one of them spinner things, but I did it on hand yesterday. And the infinity symbol just speaks to me because it just reminds me, you know, life and death, chaos and order, nothing and everything, dark and light, wrong and right, up and down, gay, straight, trans, cis, fat, skinny, tall, short, salt, pepper, vinegar, sugar. Ooh, look at that. I gotta put that back together. That shit. Well, anyway, let me make sure I fix this before it dry like that. But I just all on my just love just gotta get my hands dirty. But anyway, yeah, so that's all I really wanted to say in this video. I wanted to address this whole this whole stuff because I know a lot of things that Flame said, she said, he said, they said, the pimp said, because hey, you gotta keep them women happy. You gotta keep your women happy. You gotta keep them. You gotta keep them happy. You gotta tell them what they want to hear, honey. Pimping ain't easy, honey. And baby, Flame is a true certified pimp. Flame get on there every day with that pimp hat on. Have breakfast every morning with that pimp hat on, baby. Have tea time in the morning. Put that pimp hat on. And child Maddie, that lady, I think that lady will be able to run for office one day. Cause she motherfucking, she thought about that shit. She said, wait a minute, they going on strike now, cause them girls done ascended to that place, and the it's getting money and becoming wealthy. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I'm experiencing more prosperity in the past couple of years than I've experienced in a while. And it is a very challenging space. I could see how girls gain a lot of weight. I could see how you could just get caught up in just having access to resources because we're not the world that we come into, it doesn't just lay things out for us. We have a lot of opportunities here, but there's so much conformity that's required a lot of times to get these benefits, especially if you look a certain way or have a certain aesthetic. So it makes it harder because there's more conforming that seems to have to be done. So we have to keep, like bartering off pieces of ourselves or, trading pieces of ourselves um, just in order to, feel some access, some agency, to be able to curate our own existence. Like this is it's not an easy thing. And so like when these girls skyrocket into wealth, when these girls skyrocket into success, like Flame is eating good right now. T.S. Madison is always eating good, but I think she eating better now. A lot of the girls that I've named in this video are eating good right now and traveling and living their best life. And so once you get a taste of that, if you have to choose between speaking on something that's gonna help free the next girl, maybe not. Maybe not. Let her figure that out for herself. Let him figure that out for themselves. Let them figure that out for themselves. Find somebody else to do it. So, it's very difficult to find that balance, to get in that balance, to not forget what your values are and what's important to you. What should be important to you, what we hope is important to you. That's difficult, when you start getting access, and when you start having opportunities to hobnob with certain people and to mingle in certain spaces. Your silence can be compensated. Okay, I'm gonna say that. So I feel like yeah, I just feel like I'm really like and this is about me. I'm really like working on myself, working on being a person um who is prepared to take up space in a way that is thoughtful of who I'm in community with. And it's not simply about the color of my skin, my gender, my birth sex, um, my what I have economically, what I have culturally, socially. Like it's not about simply those things. It's about me considering everyone that I'm in community with. It's about me considering everything that's around me. And like I said on a post the other day, I am going to be humble because humble is my balance for me. I have to remember that what got me and what got a lot of us into the situation that we are in is ego. I don't think that black people, I just for from the black people that I've been in company with, black people in 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 large numbers are not very humble. Doesn't matter how poor we've been or how disenfranchised we've been, it hasn't affected a lot of our egos. A lot of us have always felt like we were superior. It amazes me how we could be doing so bad and struggling so much and still be so cocky. So that's been my experience. Not really a lot of humble black people. Not, you know, bowing and being humble and no. This is why a lot of us can't get along with each other. This is why a lot of us find it hard to share space with one another because everybody want to be the chief and don't nobody want to be no Indian. Everybody feel like they know everything. Everybody feel like what they saying is right and what they believe. This is why it's a huge mess right now with this just with the mess stuff. Because we all is cocky. We all feel like we know what's right more than somebody else. This is a prime example of us not struggling with humility. So I want to remain humble. I think that this creating this self image of ourselves, that we always on it, that we always got it together, that we always doing everything as it should be done. No, it's okay to admit that you fumbled, not just the bag. You fumbled in being thoughtful. You fumbled in being empathetic. You fumbled in considering somebody besides yourself. Yeah, you fumbled, mama, father, them day. You fumbled. And it's okay to hold space for that. And you don't have to beat yourself up or put yourself down in order to acknowledge an error or a misstep. Ain't no loss in that. I'm the type that lose and win. I'm not impressed by your wealth or your stealth or your new beings. I's a woman, not a woo man. Like, yeah, I stated in one of my lyrics. I lose and win. I don't always win. And it's the losses that help me to be better prepared for when I win. To have the attitude that I should have when I win, to appreciate those times I win. It's the losses that help me with that. So I appreciate the losses. I celebrate the losses. I'm thankful for the times when I don't get it right and I'm able to learn from that. That's why this person was like with that both sides of the fence stuff. What do you mean? How could we exist without that was a halfling. That was a halfling. Anyway, down but now that I say cool, it keeps spinning and turning Ian Gani, Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God, goddess. And if I am, you know you are. Remember to light your candle to guide the ancestors who are in constant transition, representing past, present, and future, what was, what is, and what is to come. I am Kaneen Mafa, your guide towards a Lele nation. Let me stop. I love y'all.